I'll just get this washed for you.
Oh, boy. Get clean.
Oh no.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
my goodness.
Oh no. Oh God.
No.
I'm gonna find that girl. And I'm gonna marry her.
Just like that.
It's
Oh, Dingle Hopper.
Oh,
She's
no,
gonna
she's
comb her
gonna do
hair.
that. Look at you. No.
Oh no.
Oh no, what a fight.
I
That was pretty funny.
Very amusing.
Crab.
Oh no.
Oh no, and she's gonna have to eat it.
Oh god.
First I cut off their heads and I pull out their bones.
I think Flounder's not there.
Yes. Boy, that's true. Oh, be careful. Go that way. Oh, yeah.
It's pretty.
That's nice. Zundalo, I have missed one.
Oh no.
Pinch his nose and he run.
Oh
Now
no.
I think just for that.
Oh,
Now I stop you with
oh, stop.
He's not dead though.
Oh my
Cause
god.
it's gonna be a hot in magic silver.
Oh no. Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh no. Can.
His mustache.
Oh boy.
Violence.
He's willing to smash up his kitchen for one crab.
Whoa.
Oh, I can see this crashing down.
Oh.
The eyes. Ooh.
What are you doing?
No, I was just, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
he's
madame.
still on fire.
Let's eat before this crab wanders off my plate.
Oh man. It's a close call.
This has got
Just the fork.
the most humiliating day of my life.
Brush is right next to her.
You gotta pucker up your lips like this. Completely hopeless.
Oh my god.
He's just so amazed at everything. He's probably loving it.
Oh god.
Oh boy, until that came.
Oh.
I almost died. Okay.
Oh,
The horse is
boy,
okay.
Trust her. Okay.
Well, somebody should find that poor animal and put it out of its misery.
Oh, that's cool.
Strings. Wings. And you don't know why, but you're dying to try. You wanna kiss the girl. There is one way to ask her.
Your favorite Kim?
Yeah, that's right. We jumping off. Jumping off the boat.
Oh my god.
Her name is Ariel.
Ariel?
You can understand crab.
My gosh.
Okay.
Aw, Flounder too.
Fuck her up.
Hang on. I got you.
Oh, they did it on
knocked
purpose.
out.
I had a
Yeah.
feeling. Aw.
The little tramp.
Ooh.
Have been trained.
Wicked.
Oh,
Still the
boy.
working.
Putting him in a trance.
The whole town's buzzing about the prince getting himself hitched this afternoon. You know, he's
fast.
getting married.
Oh my god.
Congratulations, my dear.
We wish to be married as soon as possible.
Oh, yeah, okay.
As long as she keeps that necklace on. That's terrible.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
The sea witch. Oh no. She's gonna. I got it.
Oh no!
Oh, God.
And she was singing with a stolen set of pipes. You hear what I'm telling you? The prince is marrying the sea witch
he?
in disguise.
Boy.
Everyone's on board.
Right.
Or will be.
Oh.
Oh, Max.
Oh,
I don't
Max
think Max
is
is
so
going to be with him for very long.
Yeah.
Poop on him all.
Max loves it.
Yay, chaos.
Oh!
Good.
Oh!
Come on, take it off. Good, he's taking it off. Oh, great. Excellent.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's
Good. Yeah.
Wow.
What? What's happening?
Okay. Oh, good. She got a voice back.
Ariel?
Eric.
Get away from her!
Oh, yeah.
Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Oh,
Kiss her.
Too late!
Oh, no.
oh boy, look at ooh.
Ah!
Tell her real quick.
Look who you're gonna marry.
So long, lovely boy.
The contract's legal, binding, and completely unbreakable. Even for you. I might be willing to make an exchange. Ha! It's done then!
No. No.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Boy.
Your Majesty.
Oh, jeez.
To no Why, you little soul!
Eric, look out!
Yeah, you can't do much down there.
No, you can't.
Oh,
Good. Electric eels.
Holy crap! My
that shocked him.
pussies.
Oh, God.
Oh god.
Oh,
Oh, my.
no. Oh.
Oh, she's just terrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty violent here.
Yeah, a little
Wow.
belly there.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Oh,
Wow, huh?
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
The
Oh, my
spells
goodness.
broke.
Good. Oh, good.
Oh,
Woo.
yay,
Thank
Dad.
God. Good.
Good.
That's good. Witch be gone.
Children got to be free to lead their own life. You always say that.
And
be
you get to
naked.
keep your voice.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, and you're naked.
Oh, wow.
Oh, she comes out with an evening
I have a
gown
beautiful
on.
dress. Yay.
Oh, Max.
Aw.
That's cute.
Match made in heaven.
Oh, Graham.
Aw.
Oh, that's good. Oh, fun.
Oh, sweet.
God.
Scuttle.
Scuttle.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
Scuttle. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Look at that.
Oh, he's crying.
Oh,
Hey.
he's part of the family now. Careful.
Oh. Don't take care of him.
Oh, ew.
Oh, boy.
Yes!
Aw.
I love you, Daddy.
Oh,
Yay.
the rainbow.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Yay! That was good.
I love this song.
Yeah.
Under the
Yeah,
sea.
that was a great. I
Under the
loved
sea,
it.
under the sea. Yeah, me too.
I knew it
That
was,
was
good,
fun.
but
That was good.
the music I love.
Oh, it was
Oh, I
Very
loved
good, yes.
how they played with
Going
the
up
steel
there.
drums.
Oh my gosh.
Big mistake. That the world around you and the ocean floor. Both things are- I love it. Looking for under the sea.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, this
Oh my
really
gosh.
brings me back, and I didn't
yeah.
realize how much of an impact it was going to have for me, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. Very much
I did
so.
too.
Yeah, it's
you
very
know,
good.
I feel bad that Ariel, you know, at the end, she wasn't a mermaid anymore.
That's
She
right,
gave
wasn't.
up everything
Yes.
to be with the prince.
Yeah,
She
and
did.
this was very different back in the day. I mean, I'm glad stories have changed, but as a classic movie that I grew up with, I really like it as a whole, but I agree. Because the ideals or what this story tells children, like what role you're supposed to play, and how Ariel obsesses over this person, like, you know, true love, love at first sight, that it's fated, it's going to be 100% perfect and beautiful, and how she leaves everything behind. I mean,
Yeah,
she
that's
still
right,
loves
yes.
her family and her friends, but she endangers herself. You know, she can't think of anything else.
She goes to
That's right.
Ursula
Yes, she does.
to
Yeah.
you know, makes this deal, you know, and lets her take her voice away.
Voice, yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
it's
so
just-
terrifying,
it
like
is
as far as this
terrifying.
went, you know. And
Oh my gosh.
I really do love the story, though. I mean, there were a lot of things that were stereotyped, but
Yeah.
I noticed this was more violent. It had a lot darker tones than I thought
Yes,
it was
it did,
going to
yeah.
have,
Yes, no,
which was
definitely.
great. Like, it was very interesting to me, like even more so because of that. And Ursula, I really loved her as a villain. Like,
Oh,
she
was
is such a
definitely
great villain.
God, she was.
She was. I loved
Wow.
to know what she did so wrong. Was she cursed or what? You know.
I know. I want to know more of her
curious to see,
backstory.
Me too, yeah.
So one of my friends, you know, I have a lot of friends. When we grew up, we always loved Disney movies, and she likes Ursula, and I think she mentioned a long time ago that I don't. It's all theory, I'm sure, but some people are saying that she could be related to Triton, and she might have been like a sister or cousin or something that was
Yes.
cursed or.
Maybe,
And then
yeah.
Changed
because
in
she
some
all
way.
she wanted was the crown. She
That's
wanted
right,
to
yeah.
be, you know,
That's true. It could be something. to do
ruler
with
of
it.
the ocean. So-
Yeah. That would be kind of
Yeah.
cool if they made. I wouldn't be too surprised if they actually made a spin-off or just a standalone live action movie of
Yeah.
Ursula, because I
Ursula,
think
yeah,
that
because-
would be
yeah,
awesome,
definitely,
because they're
yeah.
going to make some kind of compassionate story to see how she was back in the
That's
day
right, yeah.
and why she turned evil.
Yeah.
I mean, she's so manipulating and like, I don't know, everything about her is
Well,
just so
her
fun.
contract was ironclad. Even Triton couldn't.
I know.
break it.
Right,
Again,
So she
yeah.
is very thorough with her villainous.
I mean, it's simplified, but it makes it scary because it's like that's the rules.
That's right,
She
yeah.
signed a contract, which kind of instills in children too. Don't
God.
sign your life away.
Don't sign your life
Right,
away.
definitely
And
not.
you know, throughout the whole, you know, community, the mer people community, you saw so many people that went to Ursula for a deal, and they were all part of her
that's
garden.
right, yes.
And when they're released at the end, I mean, Ariel as a little girl and being the king's daughter saying, oh, you know, I know she's bad, but I'm still going to go to her. Wow, you know, there's a lot of kids missing in the
That's right,
community.
my God.
I
I'm
know.
still going to go there.
You know,
Yeah,
you have to
Because
do
I
it.
love
Yeah,
this human.
that's right.
Yeah, and again, like the
my
animation's so beautiful in this.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy it, but I
Yeah.
kind of think they make restrictions too because if we see a whole community of merfolk, then there's going to be a lot of animation. But yeah, I wish they had more of that because we didn't see any other merman besides her dad, besides Triton, and then at the end,
And then
unless
the
she
end, you
enslaved
find out
all of
how
them and
many.
made them
So
seaweed
yeah, and
creatures.
you know that like at the end, she must have known through through the past that people have been taken away or not
yes.
seen anymore. Or why?
I
Because
know. I
made
mean,
up-
do they have just so many merfolk that they're like, oh, it's like they just
Yeah,
don't
right.
realize that people are missing? But she has so many, and it was really disturbing. Like, I remember parts of this. I mean, I know the songs, but I remember parts of this as a kid. But I'm like, this is pretty terrifying. Was I
Yeah.
scared during this? Because like it didn't stand out as much from what I remember. But I don't know. Like that was
Especially
actually
at the
pretty scary.
end when she
Yeah.
became so massive
Oh my
and she
God, that
was
was
just
scary.
constantly, destroying. She wants to be the leader of this ocean, but she's just ruining it all.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's all about power for
She
her.
doesn't
Like,
care.
doesn't
It's
care
just
about anything else.
instant,
That's all.
gratification.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
that
so,
violent end for her too. Like that was awesome. Eric like
It was.
completely impaled her, and that's all
what
it
he
took
did,
to
that's
take her
all,
down.
yeah.
But yeah, that was. I mean, everything that happened was satisfying.
It was.
But I was like, holy crap! Like this is really freaking violent when you think
It
about
sure
it.
is. Yeah.
So her enslaving the seaweed people, like making them into seaweed people, and
Yeah, my God.
and her getting impaled at the end. It was just pretty incredible to me to
That's
see
right,
it.
yeah.
Even her eels exploding, and
Oh
my
my
goosies.
God. I said, I'm glad they electrified themselves.
Yeah, I was like, oh, electric eels.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, for a shorter story, because this was an hour and 22 minutes, as I can see in Disney Plus right now. There was a lot to tell, and I think it was
was,
pretty
and
solid.
I think it
for a
was
story.
too, and I loved the stories being told through the music.
Me too.
That
and I
was
know a lot of
great.
people
The
enjoy that.
Unfortunate Soul, that was a great,
Yeah.
you really understood what she was giving up at that time, and it's like, oh, she's giving it all.
Yeah.
Giving it up.
All the music in this was perfect. I really enjoy it,
good.
and Part of Your World was probably my favorite. Like I know that one word for word, and then You Poor Unfortunate Soul. I don't know if that's what the actual title is, but I knew a lot of the lyrics in that one too, and they're just such fun songs. And you guys, I heard you guys are Under the Sea.
Yeah,
that's a great
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So many beautiful songs. And Kiss the Girl. I mean, that one's very
that was
catchy
good,
as well.
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Like
they're
all
all
of them.
good, yeah.
And the story, again, the romance, I absolutely love that. I know it's simplified and, very obsessive in a way where it's like you fall in love with this handsome man and that's how it's
So, yeah.
supposed to be and nothing else matters kind of thing, which isn't great for any child to see and kind of believe that. But honestly, that's how I grew up, and I do still enjoy it.
Yeah,
But
I do,
again,
yeah.
I'm happy things have changed.
Right, and
Definitely.
the story was
Really
leading
was.
up to her just being so fascinated with humans. She would collect their treasures from under the sea
all
through
those treasures.
shipwrecks.
My gosh.
And
Yeah.
she really loved, she was just so curious about the above world,
Yeah.
and she did have a fascination
That's right.
for a very long time. I mean, look at that treasure trove she had.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, she
that
was
took a
doing
long
she was
time.
her collection that took a long
That's
time,
right.
right? So she's been very curious for humans,
Mm-hmm.
and so it does go to you can understand that she would fall in love with
sure.
Someone that was a human. I totally understand that. 'Cause
Yeah.
she spent her whole, all her spare time, even when she was supposed to be doing something for the family.
Yeah.
Exploring.
Oh my gosh,
And
yeah.
it's in a way like Triton didn't even know his own daughter because she was doing that that wasn't
That's right.
months or a couple
That's right.
years.
No,
that was like a lot of her life.
Since
Since she could swim on her
since
own.
She could
and,
do it. Yeah.
and he's busy ruling a kingdom, and I'm glad to see that her father's very caring because we watch a lot of other shows that you can't even compare, but more realistic in other ways, kind of. Where I'm just glad to see that he's very caring, but he's ruling a kingdom, so he doesn't know what she's doing half the time.
Yeah, definitely.
And seeing that big cave, I'm like, wow, I would have been like, I know he was upset, but I would have been like all mixed emotions with like, holy crap, I don't even know my own daughter. Like,
That's
what?
right.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
he doesn't have a wife. It looks like she probably passed away, or something.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have the female aspect of to soften or to understand a daughter.
That's right,
I mean, he has a ton of daughters.
He has
too,
a lot of
so he has to,
daughters,
like,
so
feed
it
off
would
them.
help if he had, if his wife was there, maybe she
that
could have,
definitely,
softened it a little bit, the relationship. But no, he was just protecting her, and all he does know is these are all they do is kill.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's all he
Yeah.
knows, because all he knows is are the ships going
That's
by,
right.
and
That's for sure.
Yeah,
So-
and that is a good moral to have, or a good lesson where it's good to have an open mind.
Yeah.
Because this is very closed-minded, where the two worlds are separate for a reason, and they've never crossed paths before, or when they do, they get eaten. But it seems like mermaids are just stories, like no one believes in them, and even now, like, you still hear crazy stories where people say, there's a lot of stuff in the sea, you never know. I doubt there's mermaids, but it's kind of a cool idea. I love fantasy and just like the unknown out in our own planet is pretty cool. But anyways, so it just seems like it's very separate still. Like nothing ever really truly came to be where you had someone like Ariel and Eric get married before. Like this is the first time ever kind of thing. So I love her actually breaking out of that box and exploring herself and discovering things on her own, and not just listening to how she was brought up and being like, oh well, this is the way of things, and they're just evil and all killers, and and she's very lucky because she met the perfect guy.
That's right. He was really
Right.
nice
You know,
prince.
he's very nice.
Yeah,
wealthy
he was very
prince,
nice.
very
That's right.
sweet,
He wasn't
single.
pushy.
Thank goodness.
He
Right.
didn't take advantage of her.
For sure.
Again, it is
That's
rated
right.
G. It's for kids, but still, there are
Yeah.
certain things in motion to make you like know your place,
That's right, yeah.
and hear like, oh well, here's this guy, and he's going to be wonderful for you, and overthinking it. Can you imagine if she did all of this? Went to see Eric, and he actually did fall in love with someone else, and it wasn't the sea witch.
That's
It
right.
was an actual different person that he just had more in common with,
That's
you
right.
know, and it's something like that could easily happen, and then she
Absolutely.
is forever a
Absolutely.
human, and
That's
she'll
for
never be
sure.
able to be in the ocean again with her family, and so that's absolutely devastating.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's right.
Anything could have
Yeah.
happened. She was taking a huge risk.
That's right. You have to really
She
think about
she
things.
put everything up. She gave it all just for him. And I liked Grimm, where he was like, look who's right in front of you. Don't look for the fantasy girl. Look at
That's right,
look
yeah.
at the girl in front of you. And he was gonna go for it until the sea witch came.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But I did like Grimm.
Yeah, Griffith's good.
He was a good advisor.
That's
He
right.
didn't have parents either.
Mhm.
So it seemed that he was trying to steer him in the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I really like Grimm too.
Yeah, I did too, and I like Max.
Yeah, Max was
Max.
adorable.
He's always a
Thank
happy
God for
guy.
Max. I
That's
mean,
right. Thank goodness.
otherwise he never would have found her on the beach.
That's for sure.
And going back to the animation, I loved, how fluid it was all the way through. The styles of the characters were awesome, and the dog, like his fur, like that's hard to animate, and seeing
Especially
it
in the
move
wind
around-
when they were on the ship.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, all the time it
Before
was
the
moving, and he's
storm
long haired, and to make it look long haired and not stiff. And have it
That's
fluid
something,
like that.
yeah.
It's hard in all different directions. So I like the classic animation style with Disney, where it's a little bit messier, where you have the original lines of the animation in there, because like newer animations are very different now, but even like a few years after this, like they start to clean them up even more, where you don't see like these, like, I don't want to say, well, I did say, but messy lines, but that's how you draw, you know. So I just love that. It gives it a lot more energy and it makes it more interesting to look at, you know. So seeing, you know, Max, like, you know, his fur flopping around all over the place, like it was kind of messy, but it worked so well. Like I thought that was so great and well done. And Ursula's design was very fun and very intimidating.
It was, especially when she came out and all her tentacles like that, like just popping out, like she. That was great.
Yeah. And I have to bring up some things that did surprise me. I'm not saying it was bad, but like I just didn't expect to see it in when did this come out? We're on the wrong one now, but I think it said, oh gosh, maybe 1989 or something. I have to look back, or it could be, I'm totally going to jump to the wrong year here. But anyways, we're on a different one on Disney Plus that shows the Little Mermaid sing-along for 2008, which I know is not it. But when Ursula was singing and she starts shaking her boobs and we get the big zoom in of her boobs, I was like, holy crap, you know. And then when Ariel turned human, and I think that was well done.
The silhouette.
In the placement with the lighting. And she was way off in the background, and it was all silhouette mainly, and you saw some highlights of her curves, and you kind of saw like her butt cheek a little bit, but it was quick, and I'm like, oh wow, they could actually do that. And then they had to like bring her up to the surface, so we had some nudity, and then her even like being under the water with the legs, like kids aren't thinking of that, but I was like, wow, you have this
going
beautiful
from top
just,
to way bottom,
or just a person in general, just like almost exposed, you know, and she's like a 16-year-old girl, you know. But honestly, like, overall, I really did enjoy everything about this, though.
I did too. You know, she was very fascinated with fire. She wanted to know about fire when she was, before she turned to the human, and when she did turn to a human, and she was in the bedroom and the candle was on, I thought she was going to go to that and just be curious about it, but she wasn't, because she was so exhausted, and she had a lot going on, but I thought she has such a fascination with it.
It's probably good that she did. Everything's on fire. Everything's on fire.
Everything on fire.
But she was,
she was very
hilarious with her fork, with her.
And the I wrote it down to snarf. Oh, I remembered though, but snarf. No, I didn't. I mean, snarf flat. I think that's what it's called. I was gonna say I remembered it, but I'm like, no, I don't. But I love all the names that Scuttle had for different human.
Oh yeah, because he was trying to act like he was so, you know, knowledgeable.
So
it was Buddy Hackett. We love Buddy Hackett.
That was really good.
Yeah, you were saying that before. And I was like, that's cool, you know. The romance part of this I really did enjoy, and I think it's so cute. It was so cheesy, but I love it, you know, with Ariel being like, oh wow. And I know that contradicts what I said, because I still believe, like, it's, you know, it's nice to think, oh, you know, love can happen instantly, and it does happen for some people, I guess, but I think it takes a while to know. I think you can be very attracted to someone for sure, but I think it takes a little while for you to get to know someone, and sometimes longer than...
And I kind of wish, like, as a mom, if I sat down and watched this with my kid when it was, you know, in the day, I would have been like, okay, there's a lesson to hear, you know, to tell here, you know, talk to her, because I was like, she gave up everything, which is, you know, sometimes that is true love, you know, you really just, you give it all to a relationship. And thank God it worked out for her.
I mean, a lot of Disney films around this time, you know, were told like this, where, I mean, again, thank God Eric is a nice guy. It's not always the case, and thank goodness he didn't take advantage of her, but yeah, like, honestly, the scenes were beautifully done. I do love the romance idea, and even like her popping out of the water with the music, and just how dramatic that is, and like part of your world when she's on the rock and the waves come up, you know, like in that moment of like realizing that, you know, she is really attracted to Eric or really likes him and wants to like see where that goes or something. And then when Ursula first changes her to a human, and Sebastian and Flounder, thank goodness for them that they were there, because that was also scary that she could have freaking drowned there. And pulled her right up to the surface, and when she popped out, you know, or just emerged from the water, and it's just a dark silhouette and you see some highlights, and it's a beautiful like sunset. And I love that scene. That was a very like dramatic pronounced scene where I was like, wow, yeah, it just shows like the, I don't know, like it just shows how powerful that moment was. Of like, this is the decision you made, and now you got to live with it and move forward from here. Right. So very good. Love the movie.
Depending on a kiss. That was all depending on a kiss.
I know, and true love's kiss in 3 days, and it's like no pressure, and you lost your voice, but it shows in a way, I'm trying to see it that way, where he has to fall in love with you, even though you don't have your talent, I guess. Although that is part of who she is, though.
And that was part of what he fell in love with, her voice.
Yeah.
So that was pretty hard to accomplish.
Yeah. So everything was like against her and everything, but yeah, it worked out well. It was a nice happy ending.
Yeah.
And it was sad. It was bittersweet for me because I'm happy Eric bowed to Triton, and it was, he kind of nodded back, and it was a, acceptance there, of course, with Triton and all the mermaids there, like celebrating. But it was kind of sad that she was leaving everything she knew behind.
She's not her. She's not who and that's fine. She was meant to be.
I know, and that's how you can see it too. It's okay to
she started
move
right
on
from
and live your life.
A young child, just absorbed into, she just wanted to know so much about the human life.
I'm sure.
That at the very least, she's married to a very wealthy prince. Now she can go on a ship and see her family.
I was thinking that.
Right. They can have a little family reunion of sorts.
So with side characters, do you guys have a favorite character?
Oh my God.
Not Ariel or Eric.
Sebastian,
and then just Scuttle.
Yeah, Scuttle was
right.
And Max.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have
Flounder
like a huge...
was great. I mean, Flounder was very
people,
scared.
Yes.
He was very faithful to her. I mean,
I think Flounder was cute.
Yeah.
I mean, to get that statue.
Oh my!
I don't have to do that. He must have a lot of friends help.
Yeah,
because
that's a true friend.
And it's like a small opening at the top of the cave. So it's like, how do you get down
that's
to
a true
drop
friend
it down?
right there.
Yeah, he was very sweet to do that. Yeah,
very loyal.
So I like Flounder for that reason, but Sebastian, hands down, was my favorite. I just think he's so funny.
Oh,
and
I love
his
him.
voice, his animation, like the design he has, like just with his face alone and his lips. I just love
his expressions.
It's just so good.
So petrified and shaking legs talking to the king.
I know, it's just so great. And he was really caring too. Like, it wasn't always about him. Like, he was very talented as well, and he loved his music. But he also really cared for Ariel. It wasn't always about trying to be in the king's favor.
Right.
He tried a little bit, but, like, he really cared about her feelings too.
And he was trying to, give advice to the king. If that was my daughter,
I
think he'd even be softer on her if it was his daughter.
Yeah,
I know,
you don't know
yeah.
until you're a
That's
parent, but he just has that soft spot. So.
And their friendship with Triton and Sebastian's perfect because, like, they can read each other so well. So when Sebastian starts talking up like that, then Triton's like, "Oh yeah, that's true. How about you go watch it? That's perfect,
right.
man." Then as soon as he tucks into his shell, I
That's
love
right.
that. Yeah. So the animation choices were just so great in this when it came to reactions with the characters, and mainly with Sebastian, with him with the cook, like
that was great.
Wow.
He was so tiny in that. You see,
he was so small,
like a lot tinier than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, so maybe just to make it more intimidating or something. It was just for that one scene.
He got that chef really ticked
a
off.
fork
I mean, he
thing,
ruined
too.
his whole kitchen for him.
Yeah, he said, "Well, you ruined my
crap.
friend, so I'm going to break your teeth." Yeah. So, guys, please let us know what you thought of this movie. I'm really curious, but I think you guys really enjoyed it.
Yes,
I definitely did.
Yes.
Very
Definitely,
fun.
yes.
Thank you guys so much for requesting this and voting for it on our Patreon. I'm
Yes,
very
thank
happy we were able to
you.
see this together.
That was good.
And until next time, if you want to check out our full reactions, you can always check that out in the links below if you're not already watching on our Patreon. And we'll see you very soon, as always. Bye, guys!
Bye.